Hey guys, MC Mura here, and today we're gonna go over the weaknesses of every character in Street Fighter 6 and how you can fight every character in this game. This is part 2 to a video that I had already done. I'm gonna leave a link to it in the pinned comment so you can check it out, and I'm gonna leave the link to like the timestamps for all the different characters in the description so you can check it out. Now, if there is a character that you haven't found in this description, it's gonna be in the original video. And before I start with the individual characters, and oh my god, I was surprised with how many. Where is Lily? Where is Lily? Turned out Lily is a demon to some of you guys. Man, some of you really hate her. But before I start with Lily and what you can do against her, I do want to highlight two. Well, I want to say 2 points, or like 2 point of views for me. The first one is what I do consider to be a weakness, and by that I mean some things that you can exploit. And for example, a character not having like crouching medium kick drive rush, I don't think that's a weakness. Or like for a Lily, for example, her not having throw loop. Well, I guess you can say that you can exploit that, but I wouldn't say like it's a weakness. It's not like not having an invincible reversal, right? Because not having an invincible reversal means that you are susceptible to a lot more pressure. So not having like cancelable crouching medium kick drive rush, I wouldn't consider it a weakness, because typically this means that your crouching medium kick is gonna be used in a different manner, right? Lacking the strength to do a specific thing, I don't think that is what I would say like is a weakness. However, not having an invincible reversal, I do think that is a weakness. And let's talk about why it's such a big deal. And the crux of it is that having an OD uppercut protects you from having to hold a lot of fake pressure. For example, say that Terry here is gonna go for like crouching medium kick into crouching medium punch, right? This is a fake string, right? So it's like you can uppercut through these strings, right? But the thing is, if you don't have an OD uppercut, you're gonna, like you saw, you're gonna have to use meter, which is a big deal because you want it for your big supers, your big knockdowns and all of that. If I try to mash my jab here, I get frame trapped, right? So I get countered, I get frame trapped, and that is bad, right? A character like Terry, for example, I can't do that against him. Say that I'm gonna try to go for like a crouching medium kick, drive rush into crouching heavy. I can't, because he has the OD uppercut, so he's gonna be able to interrupt me every time. And that goes like for a lot of knockdowns as well. Like say that Terry does that against you. If you have an OD uppercut, you can punish this for, you can get like a guaranteed punish on this. But if I don't, and I try to challenge here, I get countered, right? So that's why having an OD reversal is such a huge deal, because this is a weakness that you're gonna see for many characters in this video. So the first thing with Lily is, yeah, she does not have an invincible reversal. And because she doesn't have an invincible reversal, like you saw, she's gonna have to hold a lot of pressure, which, yeah, that's a very common weakness in this game to many characters. Now, Lily does have another weakness, which is unfortunate, and that is to her backdash. Now, if you notice, her backdash is 24 frames. This is slower than the average. Most of the roster is at 23, and that 1 frame makes a substantial difference. Say that we're fighting Terry, and Terry is going for his throw loop, right? Now, the thing is, this throw loop, you can backdash the throw, right? And if you happen to backdash the throw, typically you're gonna be able to punish it. But because her backdash is slower, she's gonna be only +3, so she does not get a punish. So not only does she not have an invincible reversal, but also she has a slow backdash that is not gonna let her punish many of the throw loops. This is gonna go for Terry, this is gonna go for Mai. Any throw loop which is like auto time dash into throw, well, she's not gonna be able to punish it, which obviously is unfortunate as well, especially like I said, given that her own like she not having an OD uppercut is kind of like a big deal, right? So she's very prone to pressure, especially on wake up. Another weakness I think for Lily, which this is like really grappler specific, is that her drive rush cancel her jabs drive rush cancel on block are negative. This is the case for many of the roster, by the way. The vast majority of the roster are like that, where they can drive rush jab and pressure, but most of the grapplers actually are. So on this drive rush cancel, like her crouching jab, drive rush cancel, despite her having a 6-frame crouching jab, this actually is negative. If you mirror this to say Manon, where with Manon, her standing light kick, drive rush cancel, is actually plus. So Manon will actually get the frame trap, which means that Manon can also standing light kick, drive rush cancel into grab. And obviously Manon gets a medal out of that. That is really cool. Zangief kind of has the same thing going as well, where he can standing light kick and drive rush cancel into the SPD, and he's getting the counter hit, right? Lily can't do that. Her jabs, you will be, if she does like drive rush cancel out of them, you can interrupt her and you can beat her to the punch. I think this is something that you can play around with Lily, because this means that her main ways of getting like the plus frames is just gonna be the OD counter spire, which obviously is a fantastic move. Like, make no mistake, OD counter spire is ridiculous, but that does give predictability to Lily. Like, you know exactly when that mix is coming, and it's very hard for her to catch you off guard. It's not like a Manon which can like standing light kick and hey, I got you. It doesn't really happen with Lily like that. She's kind of predictable on when she can go for the command grab. And I think in general, her movement is not that fast, and many of her buttons, this crouching heavy punch, despite being absolutely tremendous, it is still like somewhat whiff punishable, especially like on the lower hurt box. I think you can actually get a whiff punish on her. So the main issue with Lily really is predictability, right? I think she's really predictable. She really can't deny you walking backwards that good as well, because her lows are really short and they're kind of on the slower end as well. So predictable neutral and predictable pressure, that is pretty much like the crux of the issues with Lily. Now let's go over Ryu. Because I saw the comment down there of, oh, this video, the title is gonna get really old really fast once we get to Ryu. And Ryu obviously is ridiculous. I don't think Ryu obviously is an insane character, and obviously like one of the strongest characters in the game. But I don't think Ryu have like one small issue, which is that his OD reversal is really short. That makes it baitable in some regards. Like, say for example, we're gonna make Ryu wake up with the OD Shoryuken, right? It's like a super duper small weakness, but it can matter a little bit, right? Like Viper here, she can do like drive rush into feint, or like drive rush grab with grab like that, and it works on Ryu. As you can see, I can actually bait him, where I can get his uppercut to whiff. This is not gonna work on Sagat, this is not gonna work on Ken, this is not gonna work on Akuma, and obviously there are many examples of this as well, like another one. I'm going obviously with the characters that I do play, because like I know the setups. Like Bison, for example, as well, right? Like he can do that against. Let's not combine him back rise. Like even on a quick rise, he can get that on Ryu, but it is hard for. Like he will not gonna be able to do that versus a Sagat, versus a Ken, versus Akuma, versus Guile, versus characters with like really horizontal range on their moves. Typically, you're not gonna be able to do that. Is that a gigantic weakness? Not really. Like, not really, but it is something that you can use. And I mean, we're gonna get what we can, right? But yeah, like that also is not gonna work against the other Shotos. So Ryu, his normals are really good, his strengths are insane, but at least there's like a hint of a flow that you can play around, which is more than I can say about the next character, in my opinion. And done. Well, we're gonna make two of them, because I don't really think that Terry and Cammy, these two characters, I'm gonna bundle them together. I don't know of a single flaw that you can play around when fighting Terry or Cammy. Both of these characters are absolutely like I guess it goes onto the saying of like what is considered to be a weakness, something that you can play around versus strengths. Because I know that Terry and Cammy are not like the best characters in the game. But at the same time, they really don't have any big flaws. Both of them got like really good jabs. Both of them got really good walk speed as well. Terry is even above average. Terry can annoy fireball users with his light projectile. Cammy does have like the OT spin knuckle, so you can't even say zone them. And once Cammy got the level 3, her level 3 super is pretty much like a checkmate. So you can't really play around that. Both of them got really long range crouching medium kick, really good footsies. Both of them got OD reversals with decent forward range. Like Terry moves a little bit more than Ryu, so even then, like it's a little bit better. And Cammy does move forward a lot with her OD uppercut. So again, it's not like an easy uppercut to bait. Both of them got really good light pressure as well. Like Terry got that, which is gonna be pretty much safe. Cammy can make you like block 3 light and then insta dive, and if you try to take back your turn, she can punish you. Cammy obviously got like wake up OD air dive kick. They got reversals. So I don't like I genuinely don't know like of a flaw that you can use against these characters. And most of them got throw loops, so that is really strong as well. So for these characters, I think you just got to outplay the player. There isn't really like an inherent weakness where I'm gonna tell you, oh, they don't do that perfectly well. Something that you can exploit against them. I personally don't know of any, so if you do have a perceived flaw or weakness for Terry or Cammy, again, I know they're not the strongest, and just like Ken, like they don't have a hole in their game where I gotta say, okay, I can abuse that. I don't think so personally. Alright, and now it is Jamie's turn. And the thing with Jamie is just like with everything with his design, it's gonna rely a lot on his drink level, right? This character is very dynamic. The inherent main thing about Jamie is that he just does less damage once he's at 0 drinks, and then once he drinks up like 1 drink, that's now like 95%, 2 drinks, it's at 100, and obviously the more he drinks, the more damage he's doing, right? Where it scales at 90, and then 95, 100, 105, and then 110, right? And that also just goes with his weaknesses as well. So 0 drink Jamie doesn't have a weakness of not having like really good range 5-framer, really good range light kick, light punch. So say something like Ken's standing heavy kick, well, he's gonna struggle punish these type of moves. And here I'm talking about like 0 drink Jamie, right? He's not gonna get a punish. But if Jamie gets 1 drink, well, his standing jab will transform into that really long range. That becomes like one of the best 5-framers in the game. So where 0 drinks, he's not gonna be able to punish you. At 1 drink, he gets a punish, right? And I'd say you can say something kind of the same when it comes to fireballs. Fireballs are also one of the things that can be a little bit difficult for Jamie to contest, but that is also like the 0 drink Jamie because he doesn't have like really great drink options. But once he get 2 drinks, well, he got that, which could be like really good, especially if he got like a level 2 super, because he can like cancel that into it. And now a move that goes through projectiles, I think it goes through projectile frame 1. Now he gets like plus frames out of that, so that is something that you got to keep in mind. So short 5-frame punishes at 0 drinks, that will get removed once he get 1 drink, because that's when he gets the enhanced standing medium punch. Fireballs to a certain extent. Another thing about Jamie is that I don't find him to be, maybe it's not the character as much as it is the players. There is some inherent predictability to Jamie. For example, how often did you try to like pressure a Jamie player only to find them like mashing his heavy punch, right? And they do it on block a lot because his heavy punch is like forward moving and says that with scan you're doing something like this, standing punch into heavy hit, it can interrupt you. And if he got the interruption, he can get a conversion. So they do it a lot. But because you know that it is coming, you can use it to your advantage. Right? So if he knows that I'm not gonna keep it tight, well, you can go for a frame trap like that, and that is gonna frame trap his 5-frame heavy punch. They do that heavy punch all the time once you are trying to pressure them. Another thing about Jamie players is that they are very likely to go for OD uppercut, because not only does it like get off me, not only is it like an invincible reversal, which is really good, but also if you happen to do it, Jamie pretty much most of the time is gonna get like 2 drinks, and most of the time you're not gonna be able to punish it, and that drinks will obviously give him like a lot of strength and also return some drive gauge to him. So he does have pretty good incentive to go for OD uppercuts. So that's something that you got to keep in mind as well. There's a lot of strings, like for example, once he got you to the corner, most Jamie players will go for the drink and then go for the standing medium kick. This is one of the most predictable strings, one of the most predictable sequences in the game. So obviously that is a room for a perfect parry. So this is a character that is really dynamic, and maybe I do think the character have potential in his kit. Obviously he's just doing less damage, which is holding him backwards, and obviously because of that, because they really want to get the drinks, the Jamie players can be a little bit predictable. So yeah. This video, the character that surprised me the most in this game was Blanka. Blanka is so privileged, it is actually absurd. Like, this character is insane. Like, for example, that standing light kick, right? Check out how far this reaches. This is a 4-frame normal, by the way, 4-frame. But it's not that. It is 4-frame. It is 4-frame active, which is actually insane. Like, for a light normal, like this Akuma's standing one, this is a 4-frame and one of the better ones in the game. And it's only 3-frame active, while Blanka gets a 4-frame, and check out how far this reaches. This is special cancelable, and this is one of the longest 4-framers in the game. And obviously it does combo into like his OD uppercut, his OD electricity, which, anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Anyways, so what is the weaknesses for Blanka? Well, one of the things that you can use against him is the fact that he's considered to be a big body, and it means that he's fatter a little bit, so there will be character-specific combos that will only work on Blanka. For example, against the entire roster, Akuma can go for like light kick tatsu, into heavy kick tatsu, and that's pretty much like a corner combo, right? But he actually can get that on Blanka mid-screen, right? Because Blanka is considered to be like a wide body, he can get that to like character like Akuma. He's getting a little bit more damage on that Blanka, which, I mean, that obviously is something that you can exploit. Another thing with Blanka is that his drive reversal punishes are not that insane, pretty much because he doesn't have like a 6-frame medium. It's not that bad, since he will get like a combo into light kick into medium kick. So like he still is gonna get some damage, so he's not like totally helpless, but yeah. Very good fool. Yeah. So I mean that's pretty much about it, and because he actually goes so long, you can even drive impact here, and you're gonna be able to punish him. You're minus 15. So I guess for me that is like pretty much like the only things that you can do against Blanka. This is like his only exploitable weaknesses. Alright, so let's now go over Sagat and what you can do against him. I already actually done 2 videos on how you can fight Sagat, where I talked mostly about like the strategies, his offense, his options, and how you can deal with him. But what are some of the things that you can exploit against this dude? And there are a handful actually. The first one I think is his, especially like level 1 super. The fact that it's like a 13-frame startup super, which is really slow, right? So says that he is in burnout, right? Like let's say that you got him in burnout, say that Kimberly is gonna go for like this meaty, right? Which is really good. Because his level 1 super is on the slower end, like even if he tried to mash the super, notice Kimberly, like her arms were out, but because the startup was slow, Sagat was not able to challenge. So there are gonna be some setups where you're gonna be able to bait his supers, so his defense in burnout, I do think is a little bit weaker than some of the average characters, which is something that you can use, so that's good. I also think his anti-airs can be played around. So Sagat have light uppercut, which is really fast at 5 frames, but also you have medium uppercut, which is 10 frames. 10 frames is really slow, so it's like, if Kimberly here is doing like an empty jump and I try to react with a medium uppercut, if I reacted late, more often than not, she is gonna land, right? Sure, if you're doing it super early, like you can get it, but anti-airing was like a 10 frame and DP, that is really hard. So what really happens most of the time is that Sagat players will default to anti-air with uppercut, like the light uppercut. They will prioritize trying to get in range and then uppercutting you. But this also means that if your character got an option to alter the jump arc, it can be really powerful against him. Like if Kimberly does that and Sagat got uppercut, there is a very good chance that he could whiff, right? And if he doesn't want to do that, he's probably gonna try to go for his heavy kick, right? Which, I mean, alright, now if he's going for the heavy kick, this means that you are more likely to get like a jump in. So when I use characters like Viper, when I use characters like Kimberly, even a character like Manon, who got like a really good jump in normal, I try to mix up my timing, I try to mix up my spacing to make Sagat second guess himself when he tries to anti-air, right? I think that's a big weakness that you can play around. Another weakness that Sagat have is his forward dash. At 23 frames, this is on the slower end, and that will be like especially apparent in a matchup like JP. Maybe that's like really like JP specific, but he can't like block the spike and then dash forward and block another one. I don't know how I'm gonna be able to record this, but let's make him local. Right? So yeah, like any matchup like JP, he can't do that. Like many other characters are gonna be able to dash forward and block, but because Sagat's forward dash is on the slower end, it doesn't. Maybe there will be like some matchup specific to your own characters that you can find, but 23 frames forward dash is really on the slower end. And much like Sagat, I do also think Aki kind of have like committal anti-airs. I think her anti-airs are pretty good, but they are committal. She kind of have to choose an option, and if you are using a character that can alter their jump arcs, you can actually like really use that to your favor. Like with Viper here, I can go for like a super jump, which maybe Aki is gonna be able to like anti-air with a heavy kick, but if Viper did the same thing and then did that, Aki's gonna whiff, right? So that might happen. It's gonna depend on the timings, the move, etc, etc. So you can certainly play an aerial game versus Aki, which is why she struggles against characters like Akuma, against maybe Viper, can also give her like a really hard time altering her jump arc and jumping trajectory. So that is something that you can exploit. Obviously, Aki does not have an invincible reversal, so she's gonna have to hold like a lot of fake pressure out of drive rush and all of that. So that is something that you got to keep in mind. She does have the OD slide, which like you can use it to escape, but obviously because it is like strike invul, but as you can see, like she's gonna lose a ton of drive. It's 2 bars to activate, and then it's gonna be like a punish counter grab, so you are losing more. And I do think one weakness about Aki, it really is a small weakness in my opinion, which is her fireball. Her fireballs are 52 frame total, which is really slow. Like that is more frames than an overall jump. An overall jump is 43 frames, and because this have 17 startup frames, this means that you can jump it on reaction, I think you can jump, especially like if you're from this distance, you can jump Aki's fireball on reaction. Now she does have this option just to get out of the way, but that's gonna cost her meter. And again, this is a character without really, like she's gonna struggle in burnout. So that is something that you got to keep in mind. And to compensate for this, she uses this a lot and uses just her normals in general. But this move also like preemptively, like you can jump it and punish her because she knows like you're probably looking for the jump. So you can play an aerial game around her mid-range, which I think is something that if your character got good aerial game, it could be really efficient against her. Alright, so now it's time for Zangief, and Zangief's main issues are gonna be his defense, right? Zangief obviously doesn't have an invincible reversal, so he's gonna have to hold like a lot of like drive rush pressure and all of that. We talked already about that at length. But one of the things about him as well is that he doesn't even have like an invincible grounded level 1 super, right? So that makes him pretty vulnerable in burnout, because like if he tries to super here, the super will come out, but he's not gonna get like he's still gonna get punished. He's gonna get out of the way, but he's still minus 38. Now, Zangief does have some options, like obviously he does have that standing heavy punch, so he does have some options to defend against like drive impact and all of that, but there will be strengths that he's not going to be able to defend against. Like if Luke does that, that's pretty much guaranteed. Right, he's gonna get wall splat, so he have to resort to using like level 2 super, so the availability of that is not always gonna be on deck. So yeah, I mean that is certainly like a weakness for Zangief that you kind of have to make account for. Now the thing is, even that level 2 reversal, that is slow, as you see, that's like 18 frame startup. There will be knockdowns where you're gonna do it, you saw their button didn't come out, but yeah, they're gonna block on time and then you're gonna get punished, which obviously is a little bit unfortunate. The thing about Zangief as well that kind of makes this issue even worse is that Zangief is so meter reliant. Like even if he interrupts you on a counter hit, most of the time he's just gonna have to spend on OD Lariat to get the knockdown, or like go for like a drive rush, right, to get something like that going, which isn't really that great. A lot of time, or oftentimes, Zangief players are gonna go for something like standing light kick into SPD. Dude, I am the worst with SPD motions, but yeah, so Zangief spends meter all the time, so him being that weak in burnout, kind of like a really big detriment. Another issue with Zangief that you will use even if you don't know about it is the fact that he's a big body, like he is really fat. So because Zangief hurtbox is really big, effectively your character de facto gets more range against Zangief. Right, your moves will hit from further against Zangief, and this actually makes it so that there are some characters, like for example Chun-Li, that typically don't have a corner throw loop, but they will have a corner throw loop against Zangief because Zangief is that wide. See, so it's like she actually got a throw loop against him, although Chun-Li typically doesn't have a throw loop, just because Zangief is that wide. Most of the throw loops are gonna be easier. Your moves just straight up have more range against him, so obviously that is a big flaw. Alright, and now it's time for Honda, and Honda is one of these characters that, especially in some guides, I'll see people say alright, and now it's time for Honda. And Honda is one of these characters where I saw in some guides people would say Honda's weak to perfect parry, because their idea of Honda is that Honda got to like spam headbutt all day and you can perfect parry that. But I wouldn't hold that against the character as a weakness. I think that's more of a player thing. I don't think Honda have to be like a headbutt butt slam machine, right? But one of the main issues with Honda is what you're seeing right now. The fact that Honda is considered to be a big body character. So just like Blanka, Akuma can get this sort of combo against Honda, right? which is substantial because he's getting more damage against him, more corner carry, better situation. And I do believe, just like Zangief, Honda's also a character that maybe Chun-Li, was it Chun-Li or Ed? Like, I don't remember which character specifically that don't typically have the throw loop, but they do have the throw loop on Honda. So because he's a big body character, he got that weakness going for him. Now, Honda obviously does not have an invincible reversal as well. So that means that you can kind of go for block strings against him. Now, obviously, he does have the option of the OD headbutt, which is a frame 1 armor move. So like there is some leeway for some pressure against him, but because this is still like frame 1 armor, but the move itself is kind of slow, there is some counter plays that you can do. Like you can do stuff like that. So it's not guaranteed for him to be able to use the OD headbutt as like a true reversal. But unlike say unlike many of the other characters, Honda actually got like a really good, really fast level 1. So his lack of OD reversals, it is bad, but I do think his level 1 is amazing. It's one of the better ones in the game, in my opinion. Got really good range and really fast at like 7 frame startup. So I think that's actually like pretty good for him, but obviously, yeah, he doesn't have a drive metered special move OD reversal. Another thing, in my opinion, is that you can play a fireball game against him. He does have a couple of options against fireballs. Like obviously, butt slam is supposed to be like the anti-fireball move, and he does get big reward if he happen to land it. But butt slam have finite range. Like it doesn't go like full screen. It goes about like half. Oh my, why am I not getting it? It's with kicks. It goes about like half screen distance, so the range on it isn't that insane. And obviously, like Honda can get hit on the way up. So like from a distance like that, maybe you can absolutely throw fireballs against him. He obviously does have a dedicated anti-fireball option, which is his level 2, right? But for a level 2 super, it is really slow. Like at 12 frame startup, especially like from this range where you can actually zone him, it's not that fast. Especially given the fact that it's a charge move as well, and it's like a level 2 super, so yeah. Another issue with Honda, and this one is more of a theoretical weakness, is his mid-range. So Honda have insane, like this is a 4-frame crouching jab, which is one of the longest in the game, I think. Maybe the longest cancelable one in the game, actually. But once you move past like the 4 framers, his medium punch is 10 frames, so it's really slow. Medium kick is 10 frames, so it's really slow. Heavy punch, like that tail end hit, happened like post the 10 frames. It's only like 8 frame startup on like the very initial hit, which is kind of like upwards. So he struggles. Oh my god, stop with that, stop it. So like from this range where like you got moves like crouching medium kick, like crouching medium punches, you can kind of beat him to the punch in this range. Like that type of speed, the mediums, his mediums are on the slower end. So from this distance, challenging moves like Akuma's crouching medium punch can be a little bit hard for him. Time to talk about Dhalsim, and Dhalsim main issue again is gonna be just his defense, and you can really exploit him. So obviously Dhalsim does not have an invincible reversal, so because he doesn't have an invincible reversal, he's gonna be prone to like drive rush pressure, he's gonna be prone to pressure on wake up, yada, you know the deal, right? So that's a big issue. It's kind of more so with Dhalsim because of how his supers work. Because Dhalsim defensive options, his supers in general are not that great. Like his level 1 super is not a projectile. It's not strike invul. You can actually hit it on startup. The weird thing about it is that it is throw invul. So it's like if you try to meaty grab him, he may be able to do that, but you can literally just wait for him to do it and then punish him on reaction, which is kind of hilarious, right? So level 1 is not that great, meaning that once he is in burnout, he pretty much is fully exploitable to like DIs, right? And just going for like a button into DI, and he can't really like let's say he tried to do that on block. Mega Inferno. What am I doing? What am I doing? Yeah, he tried to do that, he get got, so that's that's not great. Man, I'm so tired, I'm starting doing really weird stuff. And the same thing kind of happens to his level 2 as well. Dhalsim's level 2, it could be charged, but the thing is, it doesn't hit crouching. Oh my god. So this doesn't hit crouching as well. You can literally just wait for it. Like if you meet him low, it's not gonna hit you, right? So one of the easiest ways to evade this, he does it, you just wait for him, you wait until he finish, and then you grab him, and you will be done by the time the throw animation is done. So his defensive options, especially once he get to burnout, is really weak, meaning that if he wants true reversal, more likely than not, Dhalsim's gonna have to rely on his he's gonna have to rely on his level 3 super, which at that point, that is a pretty big gamble. And obviously, because of these two things, you will notice that Dhalsim players are very active on drive reversals, so that's something that you got to keep in mind. Now, another issue with Dhalsim, in my opinion, is this range, because it's really awkward for him. He got standing light kick, which got pretty good range, but it's 9-frame startup, so it's not super slow and not super fast. And his cancel options outfit are not that great either. Typically, he's just gonna do like a fireball, but that string got a big gap in it. Like most of the characters are gonna be able to like DI that fireball, or even with a character like Chun-Li, like I think you can Hazanshu here. Right? So, big risk. Certainly like a big risk, and in general, like crouching medium punch is 12-frame startup. Again, the range is amazing, but it is everything he's gonna do out of that typically will carry some risk, right? I think you can also like Hazanshu here, yep, and you get a combo. I'm pretty sure like because with Manon you pretty much get a spin. Like if he cancels his standing light kick, or if he cancels his crouching medium punch into the fireball, this is pretty much like a free spin. So he can't really do that against Manon. I'm pretty sure against Zangief and some of the other characters, he can't do that as well. So the range where you're at this mid-range, a big portion of the characters are gonna have faster options, right? That could beat him in the bunch, and because of it, a lot of sim players will try to go for float at this distance, right? Where they're gonna be doing a lot of that. In general, Dhalsim players they will either try to step away so that they can throw their fireball and stuff, or if they're in that range, they're gonna try to shake you with the float. The thing with the float is that you jab it, and Dhalsim is gonna be in a forced knockdown state. Oh, stop doing wake up super, dudes. You hit him, he's gonna be in the forced knockdown state, so you can get punishes on him. Most of the roster, most of the times, like you do have to know what you can get, and like with Bison, I just jab him and then do a light punch mine, which pretty much will set like an okay situation for me. If I am on Manon, I pretty much do like a jab into the spin, or even jab into like medium kick spin, so that's not bad, or just do like just jab into like medium spin. You're gonna get that as well, so it could be very rewarding if you happen to interrupt him, right? Dhalsim also have like a bunch of anti-airs. This is the fastest one at 8-frame startup, but it's really horizontal, so you can empty jump it. You can jump from a distance, but then he got that, which could be really good, but obviously really slow. So you can play an aerial game against Dhalsim as well, which is something that you got to keep in mind. I think his other control options are also somewhat committal, like his standing heavy kicks. This is great, right? Dalsim's standing heavy kick is absolutely fantastic, but same with a character like Manon, obviously it ducks, like everyone ducks under it, but if you duck under it, like you can do that slide, and that can actually hit Dalsim, right? It's gonna bring him all the way to your face. A lot of characters, like for example Ryu, got the crouching heavy punch, which hits upwards, so they're gonna be able to get like punishes on that. We also seen like the Ed tactic, right? He's just gonna get got with that. We've seen like the Ed players who will punish this with their crouching medium kicks. That also happens a lot, right? So that is committal. His heavy punches are -11, so they are committal. At least like you can get like a drive rush after that, and it's gonna be hard for him to check, or like a fireball. So because of his slowness in general, it can be hard for Sim to check all of the options, and a lot of his stuff just requires commitment. So now it's time to talk about Guile, and I do think Guile is a very strong character in this game. Actually, I think he's underrated even, but I do think he got a couple of issues that you can play around and kind of use to your advantage. So the first one is, obviously Guile have incredible defense, right? I think OD Flash Kick could be the best reversal in the game. It have insane range, insane hitbox, really good. And even when you do get Guile in Burnout, he still got Sonic Hurricane, which is a really good super. It's painful as well. But the thing about it is that this is a charge move, which could be used to your advantage. Like let's say that we got a situation like that where, and maybe even with some other characters like JP, you could set up something like this, where I'm gonna do like Seismo, Bams, yeah. He's not gonna be able to get the level 1 super to come out, and obviously now he's eating like a crap ton of damage. And I know there are characters like for example JP then can set up like some specific sequences, some specific juggles to deny Guile the ability to have charge available, right? So that is the situation, and crouching heavy punch for Viper, I can get that out of a punish counter crouching jab, right? So it's not that hard for Viper to set up this situation, right? So I do think that is kind of like a weakness for Guile. It's not a huge weakness, but some characters in some matches, again, your mileage will vary depending on your own character, but there will be some scenarios where you can get something like this going. Could be really good. Another issue for Guile, in my opinion, is his anti-airs in general. Like, yes, Flash Kick is really powerful, but his crouching heavy punch is very prone to traits. Like, especially if you got one of these characters that have protagonist normals, like say Luke for example. If you don't have charge available with Flash Kick and Luke is jumping at you with like a jumping heavy punch, his crouching heavy punch traits a lot, or just flat out loses, right? This happens a lot, and I think his medium kick is a little bit better, but this is like range dependent. You can't use it if they're up close. You are also prone to losing, so you're gonna have to rely on crouching heavy punch, but like as you saw, especially depending on the normal. Now obviously if you do have Flash Kick, it's no problem, but there will be ranges where Flash Kick may with, and that requires charge. So if he's not charging, and depending on your own character, like Luke, like Ken, like Terry, some characters who got like really good jumping normals, I do think you're gonna be able to use that in your favor against Guile. Another issue in my opinion, which this is more of a skill issue than it is a character issue. I think his 5-frame punishment isn't really that good. Now Guile do have standing light kick, which is special cancelable, and you can get like standing light kick into Flash Kick. Like you can get that, or even like standing light kick into Sonic Boom, but that is really hard. Right, so most of the times if Guile is gonna punish, he's gonna go for like a drive rush cancel, so he's kind of like meter hungry for these 5-framer punish. So characters like Ken, characters with like heavy kick style move like Bison Scissors, you can sort of get away with that against Guile because Because like I said, yeah, like he's gonna most likely go for DRC, and that will cost him like a lot of meter. For the final character in our list, and that is the number 1 shunner, Chun-Li. Chun-Li got some pretty interesting things going for her, unfortunately. So the first one that you should know is that Chun-Li's backdash is she's one of these characters with 25 frames backdash, which means that against, say, characters like Mai, who do get like a throw loop, Chun-Li is one of the unfortunate characters that can't backdash and then punish, because Chun-Li is gonna be at -2 or only at +2, so she's not getting a punish on that. Now this is unfortunate for Chun-Li, but it's not like the end of the world, because she does have like the insta air legs, which she can use and she does get combos out of. But unlike some of the other characters, her insta air legs will completely whiff on crouching opponents. So you are vulnerable for like 42 frames. So if the opponent calls this out, she actually can get punished. So her anti-throw options could potentially be rewarding. Make no mistake. I'm not saying that this is totally bad, because if she happened to get a punish counter, this is really good. Right? She gets a full BMB. But having a slow backdash means that backdash will mostly be off of the table, and they can just down back in your face, and if you happen to OD Tenchu kick or go for that, you will make yourself punishable. So that is something that you got to keep in mind. Another thing about Chun-Li, which is kind of unfortunate, is the input for her Tenchu kick. So Tenchu kick is done by down, down, and kick, but it's not down, down kick, it's down, neutral, down, kick, right? The issue with this is that you can't be crouching and go for the Tenchu kick, right? So you pretty much have to let go to the neutral. Chun-Li have to stand up for a little bit. So because of that, if you say that you're crouching or down back, sure, you're gonna be able to get it out, but there will be that specific small window where that could happen. Like I did the motion, but Chun-Li have to stand up for like a couple of frames, and you could get hit during that, right? I think this is one of the main issues with Chun-Li. Now you can say that this is an issue that may get alleviated a little bit if you are on modern controls. But still, I do think that's kind of an issue. Another thing about Chun-Li is that her Tenchu kick, like, this is gonna be like really hard to show, but it's not very consistent. Like, there will be situation where they're just gonna fall off of it. It's gonna be so hard to demonstrate this. But if you play against Chun-Li a lot, you've probably seen the situation where her Tenchu kick, just like the first hit landed and the rest whiffed, or you're doing the Tenchu kick but somehow they jump through. It's not like a very consistent, it's not a very consistent anti-air, unfortunately, right? And the same, I guess, can be said about her level 1 super, or level 2 super, I mean, where like you can use it to bypass fireballs, but sometimes they will drop out of it. See, like some stuff like that happens sometimes. So her level 1 super, her level 2 super is not like a very consistent answer. Like that barely worked, but it was very close. It was very prone to actually missing. So I do think that is an issue with Chun-Li as well, something that you got to keep in mind. And this is the one that I didn't know if I should include it or not, because it's really weird. Chun-Li's standing jab in general, this is obviously her 4-framer that got good range, and this move is simultaneously like super good, but also pretty underwhelming at the same time, to be honest. Because here's the thing. This move is pretty much like her longest 4-framer right now. It's tremendous on hit, because on hit this is gonna be +5, so she does get like a bread and butter, and on counter hit it's +7, so she gets like a combo into a crouching medium kick, and that makes it like really hard to walk into Chun, because she can get a conversion like that, which is really good. But at the same time, because this move is -3, it's really weak for pressure purposes. Like, say that after 3 light, But especially with Sean, like you're gonna do 2 crouching jabs and then you're out of range. So you're gonna do the standing jab, right? And that standing jab is gonna be -3. And because it's -3, you pretty much have to hold your opponent crouching medium kick or standing medium punch or whatever. There's not really much else that you could do at that point, right? Like at -3, I gotta block this. If I try to backdash, I get clipped. If I try to go for a normal of my own, like a medium punch, I get clipped. Even a standing light kick, it's gonna be hard because I'm -3, this is 5 frames, so it's an 8 frame gap, and Mai got like a 7 frame crouching medium kick. So against a character like Mai, I can't even go for standing light kick, right? Which, I mean, that makes her jab pressure kind of weak. Again, it's gonna depend a little bit on the matchups, but characters like Mai, like Ken, who got like 7 frame crouching medium kicks, could be hard for you. And I think that is pretty much about it for Chun-Li. She's just really inconsistent characters. I've heard, I saw the comment, like the Chun-Li comments about her 5 framer being like one of the shorter ones, her standing light kick. In practice, it didn't feel that bad to me. I did play Chun-Li for a while, so I wouldn't know if I would say it's like really bad, but I mean, yeah, it's all right. That's pretty much about it. This video was like really difficult to do, but I actually learned a lot about the game as well, and it was super interesting to check out like what every character is capable of, and checking out their frame data and their abilities, because I was blown away, especially by Blanka. Anyways, if you have enjoyed this video, please leave a like or a comment. It helps the channel so much. I will be leaving a link to the Patreon, Discord, Twitter, and Twitch pages in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and stay safe.